Yes. So I'm sure that we are going to have a lot of insightful and interactive session today. So before we move forward, some of you knows me. However, some of you may not know me. So let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Aparna Sethi. I come with 20 years of experience in HR. I worked in various industries like manufacturing, service, education, and now I'm also one of the founders of Protouch. So that's all about me. However, today's session is not about me, and we are going to have wonderful interactive session with one of the dynamic person on this forum, and that is Wills. Let me introduce Wills to all of you. He is a human resource professional with a rich experience of more than 2 decades. I will suggest all of you to visit his LinkedIn profile. He is specialized in facilitating leadership programs and helping emerging leaders reach their true potential. When we look at this particular line from his profile, he is, I think, we might have not got anyone better than Wills for today's session, isn't it? Because it's all about career progression. His strengths lie in focused talent engagement, organizational development, strategic planning. Then Wills currently heads the human resource at Avnet India, a world-leading multi-billion dollar electronics technology company. He has executed award-winning leading practices in employee engagement and also in health and well-being at workplace. He is a leadership coach and a learning architect. He has also facilitated thousands of hours of high engaged learning sessions across frontline leaders and helped them reach their true potential as well. So, more and more I read about you, Wills, I get the conviction that yes, we have a great speaker today for today's session. To add about Wills more, he is also recognized as top Indian CHROs to follow on LinkedIn in 2020. He was also awarded the Global HR Excellence Award for Evnet Company for his significant contribution to accelerate and the delivery of overall HR strategy and enhance its effective long-term effectiveness in 2019. I mean, if you look at it, his recognition list is very long, but I must mention this to all of you. His latest recognition comes from Whiteface International and Forbes as India's 50 best HR leaders in 2021. Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much once again for taking out time, and very important is helping our participants to guide for their, you know, career advancement, Wills.
Thank you so much, Dr. Parna. I really, really appreciate it. And it's always a pleasure to be in a forum which is so vastly diverse as this one. And as you introduced more than myself, I want to say that I'm happy to see we already got about 56 participants and it's growing by the minute, which is great, which is nice. We respect each one's time. So thank you for the introduction. And we definitely look forward to an enriching session, not just for you, but for me as well, because every forum is a good forum to be in. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, Wills. And so nice to see Sonia joining us from Sri Lanka. I would like to know from where are you all joining? Please put your location as well as your profession. For example, if you are from Bangalore and HR, just put it in the chat box. It will help us to know you better so that Wills can also design his talk accordingly. So we have Mansi from Delhi, HR. Great. Head HR Mumbai Pratibha. She's coming from HR. Amazing. So we would love to know about you all. Anjali is coming from Delhi HR. Oh, we have from Kerala as well. That's wonderful. Goa. Yes, someone is from Gurgaon.
Excellent.
Excellent. So we have mini India here. That is what we can say. And many, many more participants are joining in. Wills, we are having this perspectives with Protouch this series, and we never get bothered about number of participants. But what is most important for all of us is we may have a small group, but how much, we are impacting their lives. Are they
Absolutely.
getting the significant message when they work in their areas, right?
Absolutely.
Let me
Yes.
ask you
Yeah.
first question without wasting time. Okay, very important for audience, keep typing your questions in the chat box so that we will also get to know that, how we can help you out. Though today's session is completely focused on career progression, how to get to that next level, uh, please feel free to ask us your questions. Okay. So the first question to you will be, what do you think, Wills? Do you think promotions happens automatically?
Very interesting question. And I'm sure everyone wants to know this answer because everyone works for happiness, and happiness could be derived in many ways. It could be status, it could be a tag that you get with your name or title, or it could be money as well, right? So I'm very sure that everyone's looking forward to this answer. By the way, there's no one straightforward answer, but I'll give you my perspectives of what this question is all about. And thank you, Dr. Barna, for asking me that question because it is so pertinent.
Mhm.
Because let's give all my friends out here a little backdrop of my answer that I'm going to give you. Today, we all live in a world that is, I call it a quick, gratifying world. I've termed it my own way. I call it the IG world, not Instagram, but the instant gratification world. In this instant gratification, what we look forward to is, can we get a promotion quickly? Can we change and move to higher responsibilities? Can we move up the ladder in a lesser time? Can we take something ahead of the curve? So all of these things revolve around one aspect, which is you want career progression. So that is why I say this is a very, very pertinent question to all of us, despite the fact that I saw some of you saying that you are freshers. At the same time, I saw some of you saying that you are heads of HR as well. And for those of you, I saw a couple of you said you're bankers. This session is I will try to focus and address all your queries to the last decimal. That's my attempt for this evening. So I would say when you look at a promotion, I would say there's a lovely quote that one of my earlier CEOs mentioned to us. And this is one of the quotes that I love quoting everywhere. And if you really pay heed to it, you will realize the importance of what you can do to get your next promotion. So let me just give you the quote. The quote says that we cannot control the environment in which we operate, but we can control the way we operate in the environment. So what does it mean? It means that, irrespective of what your boss may recognize or not recognize, irrespective of the company giving you that platform or not giving you that platform, what you can control is your performance, is your attitude, is your contribution, and is the value that you bring to the organization. So these are the aspects that you need to focus on if you want to get your next promotion. Now, let me just break it up a little bit so that it'll be a little more easier for us to decipher, because sometimes these jargon may look too macro level. Let me just give you in a different way. What are the pitfalls probably of us not getting what we think we should get? Because I've done thousands of interviews in the previous organizations that I work for, and always we have this common reason of leaving. When we ask, they say, I was promised something and I wasn't given that, right? So, and then you're looking forward to it. That could have been a promotion, that could have been an extra job responsibility, that could have been a higher level of scope that you wanted, jurisdiction, geographical area, multiple departments, anything of that sort. But it was basically a broader horizon. So now, if I were to look at some of the pitfalls, the first thing that we can control, and by the way, I'm focusing on 4 or 5 quick tips of what we can control, because I cannot think what my boss is thinking. I cannot think what my organization is thinking. I don't know when the next M&A is going to happen. I don't know when the next pink slip is going to come. I don't know. But all I know is what I can do to make sure that I am recognized, I am acknowledged, and I am rewarded. So let me give you some pitfalls that we can go through as we go along our career. The first pitfall is complacency. And I would say complacency is one of the biggest challenges that we may face. When I say complacency, I'll give you a single line. It says that the most dangerous phrase in the language is, we've always done it this way. So that is a dangerous phrase. You know, when you think that you've always done it, which means you don't want to change. You're not open to change. You don't want to think out of the box. You don't want to think something new. Then how come I'm expecting a bigger promotion, better, wider role, right? So that's the first thing. And let me give you another one. For all of us who love to watch movies, all of us have seen the movie Titanic, right? But let me recall the words of Captain Edward John Smith. He said when they took its maiden voyage, and that's when it sank, he said to the world, he proclaimed, in fact, he said that this is unsinkable. Wow, that is a huge statement to make. Now, when you say a statement like that, that means your confidence levels are so much that you're believing that there's nothing that can stop you. But there was an iceberg that hit you, which is out of your control, right? And maybe the other ways to look at it, someone didn't see the iceberg, but it is something out of your control. So the first thing is complacency. If you don't get complacent and if you look at every day as an important day to reward yourself, to learn, unlearn, upskill things that you don't know, hone your skills, you'll do better. The second one is another C, which is consistency. Consistency is so very important because, you know, I always say in short, a star is a star as long as he or she shines. So let me give you an example. I know, this is more or less an Indian audience, and I said, I know Sonia is also on the call from Sri Lanka. Sonia, she also likes, I'm sure, cricket, because Sri Lanka is also a cricket crazy nation like India. So let me give you a cricket analogy here. All of us know Sachin Tendulkar and his great records that he had. But let me give you a small little tip that you can take away from today. You know, even Sachin Tendulkar, after making so many hundreds and so many, long centuries, when he was attempting to get his 100th century in international cricket, it took him a good 34 innings to reach that milestone. 34 innings. Now, a guy who's got like 99 hundreds, just like that, in any soil of the world, in any format of the world, was struggling for 34 innings. So what does it mean? It means you got to be consistent. Even a person like Tendulkar, who's had so many runs under his belt, so confident, he played on bouncy pitches, turning tracks, anything, but he still needed that consistency, right? So that's the second thing that we feel to ourselves why we may not get that promotion. We need to be consistent. Please understand, when you get into a job, they looked at your probability, your potential. That's 2 P's there. But when you get into your job, they look for the other 2 P's. They look for passion and they look for performance. So unless you convert your potential to performance, you will not be a star again, right? So that's the second part of consistency. The third one is stop resting on your past laurels. I'm happy that Dr. Parna read all those good things about me, about my awards and all of that. But let me tell you, 2022 is a brand new year with 365 days. If I don't convert my potential energy of the past into future performances with my passion for my job, that will be out of the window. And all of a sudden, if Dr. Parma were to call me next year, she'll say, well, actually, he got awards in the past, and now he's there. You know what I mean? So you've got to make sure that you don't rest on your past laurels, move forward, and then, get to the best of it. Even the fastest man on earth, Usain Bolt, he said a nice thing. You know how many times he's broken his record? He's the fastest guy. No one else has run faster than him. Even he said, you got to get up every morning, train hard, turn up, run your best, and the rest will take care of itself, which means you do your best. Don't bother about the wind. Don't bother about the track. Don't bother about the weather. You do your best first, right? So that's the third thing that we do, is we rest on our laurels, our past laurels. And the last one I want to say is you need to be relevant in the industry. You need to be relevant in your organization. That is so very important. And when I say relevant, what do I mean by relevant? All of us, I'm sure there are people here from the age of probably 22 or 23, right up to maybe, 45 or even 50 or even 60. Irrespective of the age, I can tell you one thing. You would have at least heard or seen that when music is being played, right from, say, 30, 40 years ago to today, how it has changed. We've had gramophones, we had cassette recorders, we had boom boxes, as we call it, we had CD players, and then we've got MP3 music. And now what? We have live streaming. So now look at this transformation, which means that you cannot stick, for those of you who had a tape recorder, would you be relevant today? You cannot be a DJ with a tape, with a cassette, right? Though the DJs of yesterday came up because of the cassette, but today they have upgraded themselves. They are moving with the times, right? So you got to move with your times and be relevant to your organization. The skills that you brought when you joined the organization would be totally different from the skills that the organization requires today. So that's the key. That's when I, utilize this punch word with Dr. Varna, that what got you here, which means where the position that you are in today. If you want to be guaranteed a place for tomorrow with a higher responsibility, with a bigger role, with a wider scope, then that requires a lot of passion. So I would say, in short, I want all of you on this call, if you've not heard me for the last 10 minutes, doesn't matter. Just remember this one simple thing. Try to be a VIP. In fact, that's my next newsletter coming up, but you people have the joy of seeing it upfront, live and exclusive for me, before it even hits the stands on LinkedIn, which is coming up later this week. But I want you all to be the VIP of your life. And what I mean by VIP is very simple. And I always pick acronyms so that you can understand and remember it always. V stands for the value. What is the value that I can bring to my organization, to my role, to my team, to the goals of the organization, so that there will not be any derailment. People will appreciate the presence of Willis on the team. The people will appreciate, Vamsha or Mansi or Nikita or Narasimhan or Hina. They'll appreciate the fact that all of you are contributing to the organization. So that is something that is required. So what is the value that you bring to the organization will determine how well you progress in the organization. It's always a simple case, right? Let me give you a simple example. When you are feeling very hungry, I love pani puri a lot for some crazy reason. But if I have 3 pani puris or 4 pani puris and 5 shares, the 6th one, thanks to diminishing marginal utility, I don't have that quench. I don't have that, that hunger and that interest in pani puri any longer, right? So if the vendor who knows me very well, he said, "Arey Sarji," oh, sorry, I don't want to switch in Hindi anyway. He says, "Okay, sir, if you're interested in, why not you try, not chaat, why not you try bel puri or some other puri?" So what is he trying to do? He's trying to invigorate some interest in me and bring his value out of selling in me, right? So the same way, what are you doing in your life, in your organization, at your work spot to reinvigorate, to bring in that vigor, to bring in that enthusiasm in the organization so that they are interested in you? By the way, it always takes 2 hands to clap. You think you're doing a fantastic job, but what does the manager feel? What does the management feel? Are you in line with what they require? Unless you're running your own firm, you can run in your own laurels, perfect. But at times, even when you're running your own, I'm sure Dr. Bhatna will agree with me that she will look at what the clients want. What do the end customer wants? What is their goal, right? So my goal may be something else, but what is their goal? So we are living in a very collaborative, networked environment. So bringing value and making sure that they understand your value, not you understanding, because every cobbler praises his leather and they say like, "Hey, I'm doing a fantastic job." Who will not want to say? It's like asking in an interview, some HR, and for my due respect to all HR folks here, please don't ask this question in your interviews. Are you honest? Of course, everyone will say you're honest. No one in this wide world will say they're dishonest. Everyone will say they're honest, right? So the point is, what is the value that you bring to the organization according to the others, not according to you? Okay, so the first thing is we. The second thing is integrity. When you're talking about integrity, how you want to bring integrity, you have to act with integrity. Today's world, everyone wants people who are ethical. They want your code of conduct. They want you to be a change brand ambassador. They want you to be a person who can walk the talk. They don't want a person who will get into the front line of the newspaper for the wrong reasons. They want you to be the person who will get into the front line of the newspaper for the right reasons, which means they want you to be ethical. They want you to be a person of conduct. And let me tell you, friends, way back when I started my career, and I remember one of my senior MDs telling me, "Willis, are you crazy looking for values? I want people with skills." But I can tell you, the thing that has stood the test of time in my almost 3 decades of my experience has been only one thing. I've always looked for values and then I look for skills. And if that's my success mantra, if you ask me, I'm not suggesting you that, but if you can look at the difference between only looking at skills, not values, then you'll find the difference. So the second one is integrity. Act with integrity so that you'll make sure that the employer, your manager, your team member will appreciate what you're doing because you're doing it in the right spirit of the company and their objectives. And the third one is P for passion. You got to persist with passion. Everything that you do, I mean, for example, this might be my 22nd or 23rd talk for January. But if I don't exhibit the same passion, I'm not going to do justice to all you wonderful people on this call here. So you got to make sure every time is the first time. That's a golden rule of passion. When you get into the office at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning, it should be not, oh, I'm coming back to the same office, the same desk, the same people, the same boss. Well, the only place that you can say the same is your home and your wife. Every other place, you got to say it's a new place. It's a new thing that you're doing. You cannot go on and say that, is there something different in life? No, you must make sure there's passion. Bring in some vibrancy to your job. Enthusiastically look forward to a tomorrow. Don't say, I'm doing this for the last 10 years, 20 years, and hence, I always tell my colleagues, wherever I go, though I've spent a couple of decades, for those of you who visited my LinkedIn profile by now will already know I've spent 2 decades plus in my present organization. But I always tell my people around me, don't look at me as a benchmark. Look at yourself performing. If you're a parasite, that's the other P, then you are stuck. I respect a person with 2 years, 2 months, or 2 days as good as a person who's got 20 years. Why? Because the passion that they bring to the table is much more important than the number that they bring to the table. We don't want a number. A number is like probably bringing a phone or an object to the table. It is not about bringing life to the job. It's not about bringing enthusiasm to your job. So if you want to be a VIP, friends, and if you're looking for that promotion, look at what's the value that you're bringing to the table, act with integrity, and always persist with passion. So to my host here, dear Parnaji, I must say it's a long answer, but I just wanted to say sometimes we got to look inward for a promotion than outward. Because when you do all these things inwardly right, the person on the other side who doesn't recognize it, if he doesn't recognize it or she doesn't recognize it, my answer to them is you are in the wrong place. Because 9 out of 10 times, when you do what I've asked you to do, or rather what I'm not asked you to do, what I'm sharing with you that I've done, you will be a success. So look inwardly, what's in your passion, and then you can make the things outwardly happen. And as always, there's something called exit door, right? Every house, every office has an exit door. Emergency exit, not an exit door, emergency exit. So if that doesn't work, the emergency exit is all yours. So I hope those tips will help you when you're looking for your next career move as far as the promotion is concerned. And then maybe down the line, if you talk about the skills, I'll maybe answer that, or if anyone has any questions on that one as well.
Absolutely great, because today entire day I spent on increments, talking about reviews, entire day with my own team. And now this sounds so very relevant, because it is not only about employees, but it is also about management, and management also wants those jewels, isn't it? However,
Absolutely.
we also need to see whether that person who is getting promotion is also prepared, because when we look at promotions, there are 3 P's comes into the picture. One is performance, second is a potential, and third is as a person. And when we talk about person, where you have mentioned VIP, that becomes very important, because you may be a great performer in the organization, but what are your values? What is your integrity? What is your reporting style? Are you honest? Are you respecting people? Makes a huge difference when we need to take people on next level. Thank you so much. And a word which I have taken from this conversation from you, there are 3 words. One is unsinkable. I think we need to all become unsinkable, isn't it, everyone? Because if you look at it today, Corona is coming, Corona is going. Again, we are from work from home mode and everything. But as long as we are alive, we need to be unsinkable. I think this is something which we need to take it This is a magical word for me today. Second is relevant. Let's stay relevant, because most of the time we also feel that, okay, like Wills has spent 2 decades in one organization, but I don't think so that he's there only because of his loyalty. He is relevant. He's bringing same, values every day, every year in a new way. That's why he's there. Otherwise, if you think that, I'm there from last 5 years and hence I deserve a promotion, then it is again questionable, because loyalty is not equal to promotion. Am I right, Wills?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. You nailed it. Yeah.
that is very important. And again, as we were discussing, as the promotion is a automatic, I think we all need to plan it. You know, wonderful talk I came across, and where they said we all plan our education, we all plan our next degree, whether I want to go for masters or not. We all plan whether you want to get married or not, and you all plan whether I want to become a parent or not. Every time in our life, we are preparing ourselves for next level, isn't it? I think in the similar way, in the professional life also happens. And as Will said, very important is consistency, staying relevant, and staying VIP of your life is very, very, very important. So on that note, Wills, I would like to also ask you another question, which is, many times people do get confused because, they cannot see the other side of the story. That is a person's perspective who is sitting other side of the table. Sometimes we do give feedback. Sometimes, we think the person is still not ready for next level, and the person is not able to gauge properly. And sometimes there are some mistakes also happens. People misunderstand. Okay, they said that, I'm not prepared. What is it that I'm supposed to do? And let me quit. However, sometimes we do not want to see failures in the organization, and we want to we make people prepared. However, the team members, or on employee level, sometimes the misunderstanding can happen. So how one can gauge where I stand in the organization, whether I should wait, whether they are giving me honest feedback, where do I stand in my organization, how one can gauge?
Great, great question, Dr. Parna. And I would say it's like, again, I want to bring it back onto the first part, which is I can control what I think. I cannot control what the other person thinks. But however, you can sense, you can definitely sense. And there's three things that I would like to tell all our viewers and audience here. Is that the first thing is you got to sense whether the other person is at least observing you. That's the first step. The second one is the other person acknowledging you? And the third step is the person rewarding you? Now, how would you check each of these things? Whether the person is observing you, whether the person is acknowledging and rewarding. Observing in the first place, sometimes a lot of us feel that, oh, my boss is not in today. Yippee. I'm not being watched today. Hooray. Now, if you ask me, that is the worst thing that can happen, which means you're in an organization that that there's no trust between you and the manager, and then you're waiting for the manager to be away, that you can be yourself, that you can be free. That's the first sign that you're in the wrong place. The second thing is that when you are, looking forward to your manager talking and giving you feedback, then that's a good sign. But sometimes when they ask you, has the manager spoken to you? No, he speaks to me twice a year, midterm appraisal and the final, annual appraisal. That itself is a clear indicator to you that you're disconnected. So the first thing is, when I say observing, you got to make sure that you bring yourself to the table to make sure that the manager gives you that time, gives you that importance, gives you that hearing to make you understand how you're performing. Let me give a small example. I love to give you these examples. And that's where you'll probably remember it. And all of us know where's India's biggest Kohinoor is. They all claim it to be in the UK with the Queen or whatever it is. But all of us know what's the value of that Kohinoor, right? The value could be humongous, could be billions of dollars. Now, if I were to bring that billions of dollars worth of Kohinoor, and assuming that all of you have that Kohinoor in your hands right now, and if you want to find a place to sell it, would it be in the Sahara Desert? Would it be in the Thar Desert? Or would it be probably closer to a jeweler, or closer to a CBD on central streets of Delhi, or Mumbai or Chennai or, or where Colombo, wherever it is. So you'll take that piece of jewel or that precious stone to the place where there is a market for it. So imagine you having this Kohinoor and you're stuck in the Thar Desert, okay, or the Sahara Desert, wherever it is. And at that point in time, you're struggling to cross that desert, but you have this Kohinoor with you. At that point in time, friends, let me ask you this. If someone were to trade that, and for 3 days, you've not had a morsel of food, you've not had a drop of water, and you're trying to cross this desert, there's no people around, and all of a sudden you find a good Samaritan pass by, someone who's really, he's just passing by for the heck of it, and he has two things with him. He has, $100,000, and he has a bottle of water, which is 10 rupees or $1 maybe. What do you think would you do when you have this Kohinoor, you're 4 days in the desert, and you have not a drop of water, you're going to die in a few moments if you don't have something. Which one is more precious, that $100,000 to trade in that Kohinoor, or even that 10 rupees or that $1 worth of water to trade it in to give the Kohinoor off to him, even at $1, because it saved your life, right? So the point that I'm trying to make, friends, here is this. If someone doesn't recognize you for what you are, then you are trading your skills in the wrong place. You got to trade it in a place, like I said, at a jewelry store where you'll get the value for it. So the first thing is make sure that your managers or your bosses or your supervisors observe what you do. That's the first very important thing. The second thing, acknowledge. Now, you cannot go and tell your boss, please pat me on the back. The moment I do a good job, write thank you. Please write thank you. Please say, good job. You can't do that. But when you find the absence of that, despite you trying to impress upon him or her, then you know that you're in the wrong place. And the third one is, of course, if you don't get rewarded, please don't mistake rewards to be only monetary rewards. That's the worst thing that you can do to your career. I was once told when I was younger in my career, in fact, 3 decades ago, I was told that money will always follow knowledge. Knowledge will never follow money. I repeat, money will follow knowledge. Knowledge will never follow money, which means you do your potential, skill yourself, perform at your best, money will follow. So when you say rewards, don't look only at, very, very monetary rewards. Look at rewards that is also a pat on the back is a reward. How many people don't get recognition today? When Tendulkar retired, he was saying, Achareka sir, that is his coach. He said, at least now, sir, will you say that I've done a great job? Which means his coach always told him, you can do better, you can do better, you can do better. So sometimes even saying that is motivation. Because of that, probably he's hit 100 centuries, right? So when you look at rewards, don't look at it only as monetary. The biggest thing that we do is, like I started my talk saying, instant gratification, IG. We believe in this, that we need to do something that we were not doing yesterday and do it in lesser time that your father, mother, and grandfather did it. All that is fine. But at the same time, we need to make sure that that recognition is there and you've got to perform to your potential. And I want to give you a last tip, apart from the observe, acknowledge, and recognize. When you are working for someone, please make sure that you also align your goals to their goals. It's very important. Please, friends, today we live in a selfish world. If you do not, every organization, it percolates from the down or top, whichever it is, but the goals are aligned. The company goals align with the team goals, align with the manager's goals, align with your goals, right? There's always a goal alignment that happens. However, if you're trying to promote something one ahead of the other and trying to prioritize something against what your supervisor wants, I'm not asking you to do unethical things. I'm just talking about alignment here. Let's be focused. If you're doing something away from that, then definitely your boss is not going to be happy. But if you make sure that your supervisor is wanting to do, say, this project in 10 days, and you do the project in 8 days, trust me, you're going to be recognized. The problem happens is our ego, our self-esteem, our seniority, all of this comes in the way and say that I want to push my own agenda. If you have to align your agenda to your manager, which is obviously that of the company, and your goal is not going to be different. He's not going to say prepare these reports or make sure attrition is at 12%, and he doesn't have a goal of attrition. He will have a goal as well, right? So it's going to be aligned. So the point I'm trying to make is always make sure that you also understand your manager's goals, understand the team's goals, and understand your organization goals. That will go a long way in doing the observe, the acknowledge and recognize route very easily. So I would say that's one of the ways you can make
Wonderful,
yourself
wonderful.
to be acknowledged in public domain with your boss. Thank you for.
Absolutely. I think you said it so well. Uh, and one of my mentors, he gave me a wonderful idea that if you do not believe in your manager's feedback, take feedback from some more people. First of
Absolutely.
all, if your manager is not giving you feedback, take time, ask for feedback. No one has stopped you. Okay. Unconsciously, your manager might not be giving. You can go, you can seek feedback. If you do not trust your manager that what feedback has been given to you, talk to two, three more people who you trust. You can even take a feedback from your family. And very important, check the pattern which is coming out. And if the pattern is matching what manager is saying, then he's really or she is really concerned about your career. Do not make hasty decisions just because someone has given feedback to you, because feedback is neutral. What we give a meaning, you don't like it, it becomes negative. You love it, it becomes positive. So feedback is feedback. How do we receive is very important. And let's be thankful to people who are giving feedback, because feedback giving is also not very easy, right? So thank you so much for that. Another one question I would like to ask you, because there are many people and youngsters I come across who have got, who have got around 3 to 4 years of experience, and they reach to the stagnation of their career. Right now, a manager is not even able to promote that person, maybe because the person lacks the manager skills, team management skill, or something like that. So, but the person is performer also, but still he or she is not getting the promotion. So how would you suggest them to manage their career when they hit the stagnation?
Sure. Lovely question, Dr. Varma. I would say I would like to look at it in two ways, and maybe because I would like to address these, I'm not sure the specifics of what each one could have a reason for the stagnation, but let me address two ways. One is a kind of a promotion or a lateral or a transfer, or I would say something to do on a technical standpoint, and the other one saying that I want to be a real people manager, because sometimes we could get it in a wrong way. A lot of people in this world want to become managers. And now sometimes when you look at the sales line, I would say a key account manager is a manager, but of clients of accounts. And then if I look at an accounts manager, he's an accounts manager because he's in the department of accounts. However, if I look at a manager of people, that's a totally different ballgame altogether. So I'm addressing, first of all, the people manager part of it. So if I'm talking about the people manager part of it, and if I want to grow in my career and I'm feeling stagnated, I think the first thing is, again, ask myself how much of achievements that I've achieved in the last. Now, what have I brought to the organization? Back to my value proposition. How much have I brought to the organization? What different have I done compared to the others? Now, when we buy a mobile phone, or when we buy a TV, or when we do anything, we look at a cross section, right? We look at A brand, B brand, C brand. Then we look at the price points. Then we look at how fast it could be delivered. Then we look at which grand day we can get the sale. On this e-commerce site, we can get it tomorrow. On that e-commerce site, I can get it next month. Someone get it from the US, can get it cheaper. So we weigh a lot of options, right? Do we weigh the same options for our career? Do we do the same thing for our career? Do we look at it and saying that how much value am I bringing to the organization? Because let me just take an example. I'm an HR executive. I want to become an assistant manager HR, or I'm an assistant manager. I want to become a manager. Now, there could be 2 assistant managers in the organization, 3 assistant managers. So the point is, what differentiates you from the rest of the 2? And that is very important. You need to bring your value to the organization. That's why I always suggest to people, do not curse your manager when he or she gives you an extra job. Grab it with both your hands, because let me tell you, friends, that is a platform you got for free. For free. Yes, you got a chance to perform at a higher level without even being offered it on a platter or on a formal way. Because a lot of people say, he's not yet giving me the letter, sir, but he wants me to do the job of a manager. What nonsense is this? Let me tell you, friends, that is your biggest opportunity that you're giving away if you do not grab it with both your hands. So make sure that you take that opportunity and prove yourself. And that's why when we talk about, I always tell my colleagues, wherever I find them around the globe, that do not be postmen of your jobs. With due respect to the postmen, I mean, they had no other job, right? A postman is not supposed to know the contents of the letter. He's supposed to just take the letter and give it to from A party to B party. Now, if we are going to do our jobs like postmen, which means we're not adding value to that. When we go and have an ice cream or we have a pizza, what do? We say, okay, I'll have a, vanilla ice cream. Then I have some chocolate toppings on it. Can I have some nuts on top of that? Can I add some hot fudge or some chocolate on it? Can I have a brownie? So you're going adding, right? That's adding value to that ice cream. Otherwise, it is plain vanilla. So how can you differentiate yourself from the others? If you do not differentiate yourself from the others, I'm sorry to say, the other two assistant managers will get a better opportunity to become a manager and not you. So you got to prove yourself. You got to make sure you're consistently doing better than, not forget about the rest. First, do better than your yesterday. Your tomorrow should be better than your yesterday. That's always the mantra when you're performing. Now, the point is, if someone's not recognizing, like I told you, you cannot be bothered about things beyond your control. If you're manager, I spoke in my previous question, how you can still impress, but what you should do. You cannot change your manager's way of thinking, right? But you can definitely perform in a way that your manager accepts you. That's number one. So the other part is, when you're trying to perform and you're stagnated, ask yourself, am I abreast with times? Am I moving with times? Am I going with, or still I'm talking about Excel sheets, when today we are moving into ABC, as I call ABC, which is artificial intelligence, big data and cloud. Have I moved? Have I upgraded my skills? Have I moved forward? A lot of people, when I ask them, what do you want to become? And this answer will probably answer Dr. Parna's question on your behalf very directly. A lot of people ask me, sir, I ask them, what is your career goal at an interview? And they tell me, sir, in 5 years, I want to become a manager. Great, fantastic. I love enthusiastic people and passionate people joining my organization. Thank you so much, I said. The next question, what have you done to make sure that you are on that path? Sir, I didn't get a chance, sir, to perform. That is the most weird, lousy answer that you can ever give people. Let me tell you, friends, do not make that mistake. You got to tell yourself, how can I create that opportunity? How can I grab when someone gives me a job? How can I take it with two hands and say, this is my chance to prove myself? Let me give you another example. When you go to a concert, anything, if you go to a music concert, you go to a drama concert, you go to DJs performing, you go to any place, when you you go to a stand-up comedy or anything you do, if the event starts at 9 o'clock in the night or 7 o'clock in the evening, let's say 7 o'clock in the evening, you will not get the star of the day coming at 7 o'clock. Never. You will get the amateurs, you'll get the people who are budding, and then you'll get the star coming at 7 o'clock, at 7:45, or with all the band baja, bam, 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 bam. Okay, we welcome on stage the grandmaster, so and so, so and so. Why is it so? So I am saying, please graduate yourself. When an opportunity is given, go and perform. Don't tell yourself, what does he think of me, my boss? He wants me to come and work like an amateur. He's not paying me for it. And then on top of that, he's trying to make me feel small. Please don't think that. That is your opportunity. That is a platform for you to exhibit your skills, right? So that's what it is. You got to make sure you take everything that you have. Tip number one. Tip number two is perform to your best. Do not bother about the rest. You do your best. And number three that I want to tell you, the most important tip is, when you're looking around at people, there'll be a lot of people who want to put you down. Hey, you're in the same position, is it? I met you 3 years ago, same position. Oh, okay. I think your company is like that only, right? Yeah. Don't let that weigh down on your objectives. What is your objective? Your objective is, if I want to be like, okay, let me give you a flip side. I go for an interview and I'm 5 years in the company, and I say, I got 5 years experience, Mr. Willis, and I want to be a manager 3 years from now. The first thing Mr. Willis will do probably is this: go and take some management books. Go and associate yourself with managers from other teams. Go and talk to leaders and ask them how they're managing teams. Go and witness people. Go and ask, do you want a helping hand? Can I help you in this task? Go and be an apprentice. Go and learn the art. Warren Buffett, when he started investing, he said, even though he was in his young age of his young teens, he said it was too late. When he started investing at the age of 9, if I'm not mistaken, he said it was too late. Can you believe what is our potential of our life? We have a huge potential. It is just that we don't tap it. Don't blame the others for not giving a promotion. Blame myself for not bringing the value so that the other person can see it. Let me give you one last example before Dr. Barna can ask me any other questions. I want to give you one simple example. I've seen people who are interested in a particular brand never change that brand. Be it cosmetics, be it headphones, be it a mobile phone, be it a television, be it a car. They like to stick to that brand. Let me ask you the simple question. Why do you stick to that brand? Why do you want to wear only Lakme makeup? Why do you want to wear only Lee jeans? Why not wear, Wrangler jeans, Levi's jeans? Why not you wear, something else? Why do you only want a De Beers diamond? Why not you wear a Swarovski? Because those people are not paying you for it. Make no mistake. They're not paying you a single paise for it. There are brand ambassadors like our celebrities who come and stand on the stage and pick up, $500,000, $250,000, 2 million. But they don't pay you for that. But yet you go and tell yourself, hey, I've got a lovely jacket. How is this? It is this. How do you like this pendant? It's a Swarovski. How do you like it? No one paid you for it, right? But what has that pendant done to you? It has brought value to you. That value to you is maybe beauty. The value to you is maybe enhancing your status of social status. Maybe it is showing that you are someone, different. It is giving you some value, right? So that is the value. Please think of this whenever you want to get promoted, when you want to move. Ask yourself, will my boss feel happy to have me as a Swarovski crystal in his team? If he's not proud of saying, hey, I've got Dr. Parna on my team, she's fantastic. I've got Rohit Kumar on my team. I've got Shiv Kumar Pujari in my team. I've got Nayan on my team. I've got Anjali Chauhan on my team. I've got all these people on my team. I'm so happy, guys. Even though the Anjalis, the Heenas, the Rohits, the Mansis have not heard what this manager is saying. It is behind their back. He's going and saying, I've got a fantastic team. That is what value you should bring. You should bring a value in such a way that they cannot manage. You become indispensable. Make no mistake, everyone is dispensable. That's first rule. But you must bring that value that it should kind of pain, it should inch within that little thing that's saying, okay, I have a problem. If I do away with Willis Langford, I have a problem. If I do away with Nikita Sebastian, I have a problem. There is this feeling that you're going to miss something. There's going to be a hurdle. There's going to be a speed breaker, right? So that is what you bring. Once you bring that value, my friends, I can tell you simple. Next time you want to change your brand, if you're using an Android phone, try to change to iOS. If you're using iOS, try to change to Android. If you do it so easily, then I'm telling you, your answer is on the table. Why your manager does not recognize you, okay? So these are some small tips for you to get your next promotion. I'm 100% sure, the world is huge. The stage is a virtual environment. You can get a job in New York City. You can get a job in Chicago, or you can get a job in London.
Your voice is getting break. Am I right, Rahul, Nikita?
Take yourself, create those opportunities, and definitely you'll have this promotion.
Yes, ma'am.
Now it is stable, but
That's
just few seconds.
I'm sorry.
Network problem. No problem. But we got the entire gist of what you were saying. So, friends, if someone is asking you, what are you doing in this company? I have left this company. I have joined somewhere else, and they will come and say, "Oh, you're still working there. You're still on the same level." Don't bother at all. These are some emotional pressures which we carry. And yes, give a time to your company, give a time to your manager, get facts clear, and then take your decision. Let's take one question at the end. Willis, are you there? Let me know. Okay, there is a network problem coming in. Yes. Otherwise, you can keep your video off if you want for a while. Okay. So there are two questions that have come in the.
You're on mute.
There are two questions which we have received on the chat box, and they are similar. Similar, I mean to say, there is one person who has crossed 41 years of age and 6 years of experience. Person has post MBA. Now a person is asking, she's also doing HR Generalist course from us, that is Protouch. So do you think that my company or any company will take me on high salary level? And in the similar way, there is another person who is coming and saying, career gap is more than 5 years. How can restart the career? So this is majorly about when you have a gap in the careers, how you can bounce back.
Sure. Great questions, Dr. Parna. I would say the first thing is ask yourself, what have you been doing in that gap? They must have been doing something, right? The clock doesn't stop. you are doing something. So what is that something? It could be motherhood. It could be, taking care of your children. It could be that you're transferred, your husband got a transfer or your wife got a transfer, you had to leave your job, or it could be XYZ reasons. Irrespective of the reason, the thing that employers want to know, I mean, back in the day, employers wanted to know, I would just say, unfortunately, it was just a tick in the box. We should not find a gap anyway. We should not find a gap anyway. That was probably the conventional HR. But I see today when we want to see a gap or no gap, because people explain a gap which is deliberate. People actually take sabbaticals. People actually take a planned gap. People actually say, I want a break in life. Especially it happens with a lot of the younger generation. I'm sure quite a few are here who want to take a break. That's perfectly fine. So gone are the days where people are going to look at gaps as a taboo, as something that is not done. It's good, provided you have clear set goals and you have transformed yourself, you're transcended into a different level altogether in those 3 years, 4 years, 5 years of your gap. Whatever. So I ask people, what have you done? Have you skilled? Have you got to know? Have you kept up with the market? Have you gone and done something different and understood, studied? Or have you at least read the newspaper, checked what's happening in your domain, check what's the advancements happening in your domain? Need not be working, right? But at least you're aware of things. So what happens is there's no disconnect. The challenge why people emphasize no gaps is because they feel that there would be a disconnect between the then and the now. And people want to get back to the then, assuming that they had 5 years experience and then get it like it's 10 years now. No, that never happens that way. It all depends on how you can portray yourself, because we have seen in the past in our own organizations that I've worked for in the past and present, where irrespective of the gap, if they're still able to bring their value to the table, honestly, and I personally, you can quote me anywhere, I honestly don't care. I do not look for pedigree. I look for people who can bring value and who can bring skills at that point in time that is suitable for the job. Pedigree is something that is good for your first job. Let me tell you this honestly. It's good for your first job. But after that, that's okay. What you do with your job, that's exactly what today's topic is about. What got you here, your pedigree degree, will not get you there in the future. Please understand that always. You may be from a lousiest college, but if you had a fantastic start and you're capitalizing on that start, you will have a bright future as well. And the other person who's talking about 41 years of age and then talking about doing an MBA and a generalist role, I would say a high pay packet, ma'am or sir, whoever you are, depends on what you can bring to the table. At the most, you may have to start for the first 2 years back on a track where you are kind of, treated like a normal executive who has no experience, who has no proper exposure. What does qualifications bring to you? Let me ask the audience a question. What does qualifications bring to you? Actually, qualifications is not just that certificate. Qualifications brings you exposure. Qualifications bring you that knowledge that is required for the job that may not give you on a practical platform. It may give you at least on a theoretical platform, right? So it is better than having a 0. It's better to at least have half or 0.5 than to have a 0, correct? So that's why people look at qualifications as well. So my point is that if you can keep on your skilling, keep updated with what you're doing, you'll definitely find a platform. I had a case where one of my friends was a customer support representative in one of the organizations. So let's say customer support representative, you'll typically understand that it is a little low in the rung of the hierarchy of management, right? But the same person, 2 jobs later, today is a vice president in a finance company. And I'm not making a mistake on this. The person is a vice president in a finance company. The person was a customer service representative 2 jobs ago, which is about 4.5 years ago. Now, I don't think that finance company, which is an international brand, has taken this person without proper interview process. There's something that person brought. So what is that something, friends? It's like I said in the beginning, tenure has nothing to do. Like Dr. Parna says, loyalty has nothing to do anymore. When we look at from an HR standpoint, earlier when I started my career a few decades ago, we used to look at attract, develop, and engage. And retain. But now that's changed to attract, develop, and engage, which means when you engage your employees better, that means they are adding value, they're relevant, and then you can get the best out of it. But earlier when you said attract, develop, and retain, that means you're preparing them to be retained. I don't want to make that same mistake, tell you that. That was 30 years ago, that was a mantra. That's what I said again. That's another example. What happened then may not happen now. The things change, the policies change, the trends change. You got to move with times. So today the mood is you're lucky. Whoever this person is taking a break, let me tell you, you're lucky. You can still make up for it. The person who's starting at 41 and wants to make a career of themselves, you can still make a huge break. Maybe a year after that, please get in touch with Dr. Aparna or myself on LinkedIn, and I'm sure your title will be 3 times higher if you've made yourself a VIP candidate in your organization.
Absolutely. And, we are talking so much now. So, brief what Willis has tried to tell us since a long time. Your degrees, our qualification can open one door. Getting a job is very easy. That will give you a job. But if you want a career, then becoming VIP, becoming unsinkable is very, very important. And that requires attitude. And if you have an attitude, as Willis has said, your age, from which college you are from, which country you're from which nation you're from, doesn't matter. Because it's your career. I think that is what we all have a lesson today after having insightful session from Willis. I think time is already 7:30. And on that note, I would like to say my heartfelt thanks to Willis for giving us such a wonderful, insightful session for all of us. Okay. What is one takeaway for all of you? Please let us know in the chat box. What is one thing you are taking away from today's session? We are very curious to know about it. Yes, one thing which you would like to take up. VIP, I think that has gone really well, Willis, today. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Verma.
Yeah. Mansi, thank you is fine. What is your takeaway? That takeaway is very important for us than your thank you. Okay. So VIP is coming up very, very well. Values, integration, integrity, and passion. Yeah. Unsinkable, that is. So, Sonia, for you, do better than your yesterday. Oh, how wonderful is that? The one thing, yeah, that is wonderful. Be persistent. I think that is coming out really well. Yes. Thank you so much once again, Willis. And, look forward for a few more sessions, and let's see how we can collaborate in future as well. I would like to thank everyone who have joined on this forum. I'm sure we have one takeaway for all of us, which will change our attitude towards our career, right? Those who are joining us now first time, feel free to join back with your career advisors. Visit us on our website, www.protouchpro.com. If you have any career related issues, connect with our career advisors and we will help you. Because at Protouch, we do not prepare you for jobs. We prepare you for career. And there are hundreds of case studies and success stories we have, and we are so proud of it, that we have not moved the mountains, but yes, we have helped people to move from point A to point B. I think that itself is a great journey for all of us. Thank you so much, Willis. Thanks a lot.
Most welcome, Dr. Aparna. And I thank you. Thanks for all the questions that were given by yourself and for the others who asked us questions. And I must say a special thanks to those of you who have spent your time, invested your time. I always use this word, not spent, but I use this word invested your time, because this time spent with all of us today and sharing, I'm sure will go a long way. So thanks for the feedback also. I love to see all those comments. Thank you so much. Maybe I'll have to take Dr. Aparna's feedback as well on today's session from all of you all put together. That'll be great to have it, because end of the day, like I said, whatever I'm here today and called was because of my yesterday, but I have to be called and spoken to another audience will be because of what I did today. So I would love to hear your feedback as well. Please feel free to get in touch with me. And like I just now put my LinkedIn contact there. Anytime, I'm more than my specialty. One of the people on this call, I don't want to mention her name, but she was with me in one of the youth groups. And she's here as a professional here today as well. So I can see transformation happening, and that's what my forte is. I like to contribute to society in any which way possible. So I'm glad to see all of you. Thank you so much, and wish you all the very best. Stay safe and God bless you.
Yes. Bye-bye. Have rocking 2022. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.
Yes. Thank you.